सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति। Mundaka Upanishad. We were at third Mundaka, second Khanda, and sixth verse. वेदांत विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्थाः संन्यास योगाद् यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले परामृताः परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे. Having firmly understood the knowledge of Vedanta and having purified their nature by the practice of sannyasa, at the great end of life, they reach the world of Brahma and are liberated from everything. I'm again repeating some of the verses that we talked about last week, just because they are important enough, like they are kind of a summary of what is being told in Mundaka. So Vedanta Vijnana, science. We are talking about science here. Now science of not like physics, biology, chemistry, or other sciences that we learn at schools or colleges, but this is basically any knowledge that is taking us to Brahma. And that knowledge, when it is purified, intensified with our sadhana, with our thoughtful processes, because knowledge, when knowledge is imparted on us, we always think whether this is right, this is wrong, and what it really means. So all these processes, this analysis, these kind of experiments, I would say, because when you walk on the path of sadhana, it is an experiment. So whatever we do, that is vijnana or vignana, that is science. So when we know about Brahma, after knowing whatever we do, it is called vijnana. So this is Brahma Gnana as well as Brahma Vijnana. And Vedanta, this is Vedanta Vijnana. Vedanta is literally Vedas, four Vedas, and Ant meaning the end or a new beginning, I would say, because it's not an end of anything. It is a new beginning, I would say. And the new beginning here is the collection of certain texts like Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Granthas. So Brahma Sutras. So these three consist of, as collectively known as Vedanta. And that Vijnana, meaning once we study this, we apply certain facts of those in our life. We walk on the path of sadhana, we walk on the path of contemplation, thought process of what we learned and what is being taught here. So that becomes Vedanta Vijnana. Even Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has famously said in the end, after the 18th chapter, or at the end of the 18th chapter, that whatever I told you, he is telling, Sri Krishna is telling this to Arjuna, that whatever I told you in all these 18 chapters, these are my thoughts. Now, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you can understand, whatever you can apply, only follow those things. And that is your will, that is your free will. It does not mean, this all comes from me. That does not mean you have to follow each and everything. You have to have your open mind. You have to have your own intellect, buddhi, apply that to what I told, and then follow the path of sadhana. So Vedanta, when it is collectively known by this text, again it is a new beginning, because after studying all this, if or what we do with this knowledge in our life, That is a new beginning. So that's what is meant here. In the nature of practice of sannyasa. Sannyasa meaning don't leaving everything behind. Don't leave, I mean, in normal sense or generally accepted sense, sannyasa meaning leave your family, leave your career, leave your worldly life, leave everything behind, go to the forest. I mean, this is ancient, ancient notion. But in modern times, we have seen sannyasis coming back to cities. They roam around in the jet planes. They have luxurious cars. They have air conditioner rooms. All the luxuries they have, right? All the sannyasis. But these are all at the worldly level. That is not the true measure of a sannyasi, because a sannyasi, real sannyasi would be whatever that sannyasi acts, behaves, thinks, tells, his or her thoughts, they are more important, because those cars, those jet planes, those luxuries may not be owned by them, may be owned by somebody else, and they are just given opportunity to use those. So it does not mean that they are not sannyasis. These are all modern terms. When these Upanishads were written, uh, there were no AC, there were no luxury cars. Maybe there were chariots. So those sannyasis would use chariots, golden chariot or chariot ornated with precious jewels. We don't know. So they might be using luxuries of those times. That is quite possible. When we go back to even time older than that, so there are a couple of Upanishads written on particularly sannyasa. One famous is Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad. That Upanishad, it has rules for sannyasis. One of the rules is sannyasi cannot enter any village, not even for food. They cannot go to a village and ask for food or bhiksha. They cannot do that. They have to stay out of the villages. There are many other rules. So if we apply those rules per Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad, maybe we can find sannyasis in Himalayas only. So for those rules, no sannyasi that we have come across or we might encounter might not fit in those rules. So again, it's up to us. Whether a person is sannyasi or not doesn't matter. Whether he or she has Brahmagyan, whether he or she can lead us to some path, that's what matters. And if you look at all the rishis of Vedas, even Upanishad rishis, they were married. They had children, they had ashrams, and they had uh, luxuries of those times, cows and horses. They had all those. And they used to do function as a normal gruhastha. And still they were called Brahmagnani. So it really doesn't matter. We can't judge by clothes, we can't judge by some particular rules. It's just the perception that is created by society of a particular time. So sannyasa here meaning person who is on the path of Brahma, who is on the path of knowing Brahma, Brahmagnani. So that what we call as sannyasi here. And once somebody starts on that path, attains the loka of Brahma, meaning he or she becomes one with Brahma. Brahmalok is not somewhere up that we have to launch a rocket and reach somewhere. It's not like that. Brahmalok is within us. Meaning, once we have Atma Sakshatkar, once we have a Sakshatkar of things beyond Atma, which is Brahma, that becomes Brahmalok. Meaning, we live in Brahmalok after that, is what the notion is. One very nice story about this. You might have heard about Mahavatar Babaji. That name might have come somewhere. Mahavatar Babaji is none other than Gorakhnathji, Gorakshnath or Gorakhnath, who is the second in Navnatha. First is Matsyendranath or Machendranath. Second is Gorakshnath or Gorakhnath. Gorakshnath is Mahavatar Babaji in Swami Yogananda tradition. His tradition, Kriya Yoga and all that. So this incident, I'm talking about 1970s. This Kriya Yogi, I forgot his name, but I read in his biography that he went to Himalayas, the place called Jageshwar Mahadev. Jageshwar Mahadev is known for ancient Shivlinga, and that Shivlinga is not just Shiva, it is Ardhanarishwara form. It is Shivlinga, but Shivlinga is in the form of Ardhanarishwar, half Shiva, half Shakti. And Jageshwar, it is in Kumaon region, Himalayas again. So he was wandering around in that region and he reached the place. He forgot about time, he forgot about place, and he came across a person, a youthful figure, I would say, of age 18, 16 to 18. Instantly, he knew that this is Gorakhnath or Mahavatar Babaji. And he had a vision of Ardhanarishwar Rupa, Shiva and Shakti at that time. So he turned into a 16-year-old girl or Taruni, which is Shakti. Again, became Shiva. So kept transforming. He had that vision. And so he asked this Kriya Yogi that what is Brahma? So this is not spoken words, but this is kind of induced in his mind after having that vision. So that thought process, it's a mental thought process or it's a knowledge comes directly from Brahma. So according to that, in his own words, Shiva Goraksh Baba, Gorakhnathji, told him that take onion, start peeling. Onion has multiple layers, so start peeling. What remains in the end? A thick bud of onion. Okay, now peel that again. So what remains afterwards? Nothing. So that nothing is Atma. That nothing is Brahma, is what that voice told him. That means what is outside. When the onion was there, when all the layers were there, what was outside is what is inside. Because there is no distinction. There is air everywhere. If we assume there is air outside onion, there is air within onion. Once you start peeling the onion, what remains? Nothing. So that's exactly the process is. Our body, our mind, those are the layers. Once we start peeling those layers, I mean, we cannot peel our body, but our mind, our idea of I. When I say I am Chirag, then what is that I? If we start peeling that idea, what remains in the end is nothing, and that nothing is our Atma. And that's the Sakshatkar that we all must strive for. That is our goal, so to speak. And after that, even goal doesn't matter. Goal, I mean, that Sakshatkar takes us to a place where that goal is immaterial. There is no goal afterwards. That means after that, everything that we see around us, everything that we experience around us, everything we experience even within us, that becomes Brahma. And so for us, Brahmalok is created here. And these are the people, these are the persons who can guide humanity afterwards. And those are the great acharyas or san or sannyasi that we call them. Seventh verse. गता कलाः पंचदश प्रतिष्ठा देवाश्च सर्वे प्रति देवतासु कर्माणि विज्ञानमयश्च आत्मा परे अव्यये सर्वे एकी bhavanti, meaning the 15 attributes established in the personality are gone. The senses and all their corresponding deities, actions, knowledge, and the individual self, all these become one with the Supreme, which is imperishable one. Avyaya. The word used here is avyaya, meaning who cannot be vyay. Vyay meaning to use or to shed off. One that cannot be shed off. One that cannot uh, erode. That is avyaya. Or another word is akshara, and that is Brahma. So here important thing mentioned is Panchadasha Kalaha. Very typically, when we talk about Dash Avatar, we talk about Sri Ramchandra as Purushottam. He is incarnation of Vishnu, but he does not have all the kalas. That's what we say. And Sri Krishna, we consider him with all the kalas, all the 16 kalas. That's how the Avatar projects him. So all these kalas, all these attributes are part of Atma. Atma, Man, our Sharir. So all these, all the various senses, they consist of 16 colors. If we are born with 16 colors, that means all of these attributes are highly refined or highly active in a particular individual. When I say uh, my vision is very good, can a human compare his or her vision with the vision of eagle? No, because eagle has more profound vision. So when I claim that I am born with one kala, that is my vision, that is not possible for a common human being. We cannot see something like eagle can see a mouse when it's flying 2 kilometers above. Still, it can see that. We cannot see that. I mean, we don't have that vision. That means we don't have that color. Somebody say that I can smell everything. I can smell good, but we cannot smell as good as a dog. When I say my eyes or my ears, let's say ears, are very good, but we cannot hear anything beyond 16,000 hertz or below 20 hertz. But when we look at a bat can hear even greater. So we don't have, when, even if we want to claim that I have good color, one particular sense or multiple senses, we are not as good as even animals. So now imagine Sri Krishna is born with 16 colors. That means all his senses, all his faculties, all his attributes are such at the profound level, at the extreme skill level that we cannot even imagine. And that's why Sri Krishna is a Purna Purushottam and Ramchandra ji is called Maryada Purushottam. Uh, so here Rushi says that 15 attributes out of 16 are gone. That means one kala remains. One kala is the existence, I. The rest of the senses, rest of the attributes, whatever we can think of, is collapsing when we have that vision, when we have that experience. And everything becomes one with Supreme. That is Avyaya Brahma or Akshara Brahma in that Sakshatkar. Also, see here word used is Panchadasha. This is, if we look at modern mathematics, the Roman numerals, then we learn about Arabic numerals. But Arabic numerals, funny thing is, I mean, not sure about the modern textbooks, but when we grew up, the mathematics textbook, when we write 0 to 9, they were called Arabic numerals in the textbook. But did Arabs invent those? No. When we go to Arabia and ask them, what do you call these numerals? They call, this is fact, they call it Rakam al Hind. These are the words they use, Rakam al Hind. That means the numerals came from India. But in India, we call them Arabic numerals. So,
I think they call it Hindu Arabic.
oh, now they call it? Good. We learned as Arabic numerals.
I mean, not in, maybe not in the books, but when in the TV shows now, they usually don't call it Arabic.
Okay,
The TVS and all they call it Hindu.
okay, okay. But I hope the textbooks are also changed now. I hope. So, so they were invented by Indian mathematicians. Even as old as Rigveda, somebody would claim zero was invented some 1800 years back or 2000 years back. Now they accept that, okay, an Indian found it, and the symbol zero is also there. But explain me, what is Panchadasha? Right? This verse is of Mundaka Upanishad, which is part of Atharva Veda. Panchadasha meaning 10 plus 5, 15. That means there is a notion of place value. There is a notion of 10. There is a notion of 0 here, indirectly. And these are words found in Vedas. That means they already had well developed mathematical systems. Placement, values, and everything was there. So even though the symbol as we see it 0 as today might not exactly be there, but at least some form of 0 would always be there. And Panchadasha itself tells me that they had well developed modern mathematical systems back then. We are talking about maybe 6,000-7,000 year old text, right? So it's very pathetic that it used to be called Rakam. I mean, Arabic numerals.
Especially in India.
Yes.
I discovered something this weekend. Hen comes from India.
Oh yes, yes,
Chicken comes from India.
right,
But hen, the word,
right.
is actually Hind. Hind
Oh, okay.
translated into hen. That's why it's called hen.
Ah, okay, okay.
And the cow obviously is the cow.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely.
The food also, like you see America, they used to eat acorns, which is very low in calories.
Right.
And they didn't have cows for them.
True.
But you know, most of the world would not have food if India was not there.
Exactly, exactly. And we have clearly written in Rigveda that, see, modern science, when we read in textbooks or schools, they say that humans invented agriculture, farming, right? But we have one name, a name who did all that, and that is Rishabdev, whom we call Ikshvaku, right? The establisher of Ikshvaku Vansh or Surya Vansh, where Sri Ramchandra ji were born. So Ikshvaku or Rishabdev was son of Manu, Vaivashvat Manu, and he has written multiple suktas in Rigveda, and it is clearly mentioned he taught agriculture, farming. He taught how to live as a civilized society. We have a name of a person, but we do not teach this to kids in textbooks. Nothing is written like that. And there are many things. Even the DNA analysis or uh, the people who claim that the Aryans, so-called Aryans, and then north-south divide in India, they all come from different regions and all that. But I think many learned people now started believing that everything came out of India. It's a new theory. It's not that Aryans came from the steppe from Middle Asia to India and there were already Dravidians. No. If we look at gene pool, they are very close. North-south divide, there is no divide. Only thing is the north came in contact with invaders. So now there is intermix of genes in the north, and south is kind of better or pure in that term. But there is no south not divide, and everything was one. And the clue comes from Bhagavad Gita. If we look at Bhagavad Gita, 5,000-year old, and there are the names mentioned of all the kings who got together to fight. I mean, they are the names written. So how can we say there was north south divide, or the people came from middle Central Asia to India? There is no proof at all. And there is only one foreigner mentioned in Mahabharata. The name is Kalyavan. When Sri Krishna killed Kamsa and gave the kingdom of Mathura to Ugrasen, his grandpa, Jarasandh became furious. So Jarasandh invited a Mlech king. Mlech meaning the person of uh, Arabic region. So he invited their king named Kalyavan. And Kalyavan, it is mentioned that he was white in complexion and he had blonde hair. So he was invited to fight along with Jarasandh. Jarasandh invited him so that they can defeat Sri Krishna and all the Yadavas. So only one foreigner.
Yavan means
Greek, Greek,
Greek,
right?
right? But it also means Jews as well. So it's kind
That
of
can be, yes.
yeah. So if you look at the etymology,
Right.
sometimes they can be used. They are not from the same region.
Yes, yes. But in Chanakya's time, Yavana were referred, I mean, specifically the Greek people.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
But older notion was he was the king of Mlech, meaning the Arabic region. And it is quite possible. They were close, right? The Greece and the Rome and all that region.
Now they say, I don't know, kind of speculative, but Rome is Rama.
Yes. Yeah. Adams. Adams. Pathetic. 8th verse. यथा नद्यः स्यन्दमानः समुद्रे अस्तं गच्छन्ति नामरूपे विहाय तथा विद्वान् नामरूपाद्विमुक्तः परात् परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. Meaning, as rivers flow towards the ocean and lose their names and forms, similarly, the wise, free of name and form, enter the divine supreme Purusha. Very famous shloka. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. Right? So that's what we chant. That like all the rivers, they flow towards the ocean and merge with ocean. And after that, they lose their existence. Similarly, once we merge with Param Purusha or Paramatma or Parabrahma, after that, our existence, whether the body remains or not, doesn't matter. But our existence dissolves and becomes one with that. And in that term, all the great sages, the one I mentioned, Mahavatar Babaji, the Gorakshnathji, it is written that his attributes, his aura, his influence was such that we cannot distinguish between God and him because he became one with God. So there is no distinction after that. And even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a great saint in Puri region, and he is considered incarnation of Krishna because he became one with Krishna. There was no difference between him and Sri Krishna. The way he did the bhakti movement and people accepted him as guru or acharya, and that movement started Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So one that becomes one with Brahma is also Brahma because there is no distinction. Like peeling onion, there is no difference. 9th verse. स यो ह वै तत् परमं ब्रह्म वेद ब्रह्मैव भवति नास्या ब्रह्म वित्कुले भवति तरति शोकं तरति पाप्मानं Guha grantibhyo vimukto amruto bhavati, meaning he who realizes that Supreme becomes Brahma. Now, this is very important. This is all things we keep discussing. Again, he who realizes that Supreme Brahma becomes Brahma, his entire claim becomes such that there is no one ignorant of Brahma. He overcomes grief, he overcomes sin, he becomes free from the fetters of the heart, he becomes free and immortal. If only one person becomes Brahmagnani in a family, the whole Vansha, whole Kula becomes Brahmagnani eventually, meaning they are on fast pace. So maybe one of our ancestors did that. One of our, if uh, you, whenever you do Pitru Tarpan, just remember that maybe one of your ancestors did become Brahmagnani, and that's why you are on this path. Because of his actions, we are the reaper of that fruit. So it's quite possible. And this is what this shloka says, that if one becomes Brahmagnani, the whole Kula becomes Brahmagnani. They are on fast pace after that. This is a blessing from a Rishi. So, yes. And one who realizes Para Brahma, that Param Brahma is Brahma. There is slight distinction, we discussed about that before, but it's like what is within the onion and what is outside the onion. That's the difference. It's the same thing, but it's just the name given for a particular attribute. And the same thing applies to Atma also. Atma, Brahma or Parabrahma, they are the expression of the same entity, but to a lesser degree or greater degree, depending upon how we see it. There is ocean, but in ocean, the same water, if we put a pot within that ocean, so the water within that pot is the same water and it is part of the ocean, but water of ocean versus water of that pot, that's the difference. If you would, otherwise there is no difference. Now Rushi says that one becomes Brahmagnani, all the papa, all the sins shed off. But it is true that if we start walking on that path, all of our uh, complexes of mind, all of our ideas, perceptions, thoughts, everything is going to be walled off automatically. So only then we can be one with Brahma. We become worthy of having that experience. So it's one way or the other, it's the same thing. 10th verse, and this comes from Rigveda. Tadetat च अभ्युक्तं क्रियावन्तः श्रोत्रिया ब्रह्मनिष्ठा स्वयं जुह्वत एकर्षिं श्रद्धयन्तः तेषामेवैतां ब्रह्मविद्यां वदेत शिरोव्रतं विधिवद् यैस्तु चीर्णम्. Meaning, to them who have performed the correct actions and listen to the scriptures, who are devoted to Brahma, and who have offered themselves in sacrifice or havana homam faithfully to the Ekarshi, one ancestor fire, who have taken the sacred vow of the head according to proper rituals. To them alone should the knowledge of Brahman be told. Actually, this is the meaning of Mundaka. When we talk about Mundaka Upanishad, what is Mundaka? So this is Mundaka. This comes from Rigveda. So the conditions here are who have performed the correct actions. Kriyavantaha. What is Kriya? Now, Kriya in general term meaning Ashtanga Yoga. Follow whatever is mentioned as part of Ashtanga Yoga. Follow that. That becomes your Kriya. If you search yam, niyama, asana, pranayama at the physical level, and pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi at the inner level. So all these consist of everything good we can do, and that becomes kriya, or the word here is kriyavantam, meaning right actions, correct actions. And shrotriya, meaning one who listens to Vedas, scriptures, Upanishads, Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, any scripture, Puranas. Today is Tulsi Viva, if you would celebrate. It is very important to read even one shloka of Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavat today. Just one shloka. And it is equivalent to doing 1,000 tapas according to Shastra. Just one shloka will give you that fruit. So today in Mandir or at your home, just look at Google and do any shlokas of Srimad Bhagavat or Bhagavad Gita. Very important or very famous shloka is Barhapida. That shlok is what initiated Shukadevji to study Bhagavat. Just that one shlok. He was son of Vedvyasa and he wouldn't listen to Vedvyasa because he was Brahmagnani. He was born Brahmagnani. He said, what is this? I don't care. And he was on path of Nirakara. And Vedvyasa wanted him to have the Sakara Upasana also. And that's why what he told all his Sishyas, follow Shukadevji and always keep chanting this shloka, Barhapida. I forgot the whole shloka, but it starts with Barhapida. So keep chanting that shloka next to Shukadevji. And Shukadevji eventually gave in, said, what a beautiful imagination, what a beautiful shloka. So now I need to study the Sakara Brahma. And then he starts studying Srimad Bhagavat. So just any shloka today would be good. So that is, listen to any scriptures. Who are devoted to Brahma, Brahmanishtha, meaning you accept that there is Brahma everywhere. You have that Nishtha, meaning full faith in that existence, and then follow it. Swayam Jhuvata. Now, in today's world, we give $101 to uh, a Panditji in Brahman and ask him to perform ritual on behalf of us. But here Rishi says, Swayam Jhuvata, do it by yourself. Even if you don't know the process, just offer something to Agni, uh, offer something to that sacred fire. Do it by yourself and pray any mantra, chant any mantra, whatever you like. Even Rama, 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 that is good enough. So do it by yourself. Don't ask Pandit to do on behalf of you. That is important. And Ekarshi. Now, whenever we light a fire for Havan, that Agni represents the original Agni that created this universe, the primordial Shakti or primordial fire that started everything, and that is Ekarshi. And that is considered an ancestor of everything. Now, it is, I mean, we can't accept that we all came from Agni, right? That fire. How is it possible? But that's how the whole process is. Maybe someday, one of the Upanishads, we can take that and that explains the whole process. How from fire the apaha came into existence, which is water, from water, how uh, light was created, then sound, and from that sound, all the various lokas are created. The whole process is mentioned. We can also look at parallel with modern science also, what Big Bang theory tells about it and how the world is evolving. So everything matches there. And who have taken the sacred vow of the head according to proper rituals. I think in old times, if you remember some old movies or pictures, the pupils, the shishyas, when they start on the journey of learning, going to Gurukulam, their head used to be shaved. Only one choti, one shikha used to be kept. So that was the process. That means you don't care for anything outwardly. You become one with your goal, that is to learn or study Vidya. Uh, Shirovratam. What is Shirovratam? So now there were rishis who would shave their heads for whole their life. There were rishis who would let hair grow longer. So there were different traditions depending upon which path of school or which acharya you used to follow. There were many rituals. Even for girls, girls wouldn't shave their head, but they used to tie their hair in a certain way, or I mean, those were the processes. So Shirovratam.
We call it Mundan.
Right. So that Mundan is how Mundaka, not only just Mundak, but there are vows that are attached to doing that shaving. So that's why the word here is Shirovratam. Vidhivat Yestu Chiranam. So proper ritual, meaning follow the Shastras, follow the path. Just don't do, you think that everything is free, free will, do whatever you like. No, there has to be some discipline. You have to follow Vrata. 11th verse. Tadetat satyam ऋषिरङ्गिराः पुरोवाच नैतदचीर्णव्रतो अधीते नमः परम ऋषिभ्यो नमः परम ऋषिभ्यः. Meaning, thus did the sage Angiras tell of this truth. This is not for the one who has not practiced and studied per proper rituals. Namaskar or pranam to Paramarushi, the great Rishi, again and again. So, name here is Angiras, Angiraha, Rishi Angiraha. We talked about a person who taught us agriculture and civilization, that is Rishabdev or Ikshvaku. But the person who taught us how to ignite fire, that was Angira Rishi. That is also mentioned in Rigveda. That he was the first person who taught us how to do manthana of wood. In old times, they used to create fire out of that process of manthana of wood, and that was the lighter of those times, not just the stones that is shown in some Western movie or something. So uh, at the base, it was everything was wooden, made up of wooden, and there was a stick, a wand, and they used to just churn it with rope like this, and eventually it creates fire. And this process was invented by Rishi Angiras. So he was the one who taught us how to create fire at will, and we must uh, do namaskara to him. All the Annapurna Devis, you must do all this every day because you cook, right? So before cooking, pray to Angira Rishi, because of him we have opportunity of doing this. And he says that this path is not for someone who cannot practice in a proper way. You have to follow steps, you have to follow certain rituals, you have to be disciplined, and this is only for those people. Even Sri Krishna says something similar in Bhagavad Gita. He tells this to Arjuna, that I am giving you all this knowledge, but don't be so overexcited and keep telling this to everyone. Always tell this to people who you think are on this path, or who are bhakta, who are devotees. Otherwise, the people will mock you, and even your faith will be diluted because of that. So don't do that. So don't be overspoken, overzealous, and tell everyone. But today's world is different, right? Everybody is on Insta Reel or YouTube, and they just want to share knowledge, whether the other party is ready or not. Just share.
So it's good actually. You can find a lot of information now on YouTube. You take like Ramayana, right? There are
Okay.
many versions of Ramayana, Purana, right?
Right.
So you can find one version, there will be a lot of like. You
Right.
go to the actual like Gita Press version, like none of that.
Right.
So it's good to be able to, one is more
Opportunity to
accessible,
have.
yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, obviously you find the one which ready for basically.
Right. Well, it's because you are a bhakta, Kausubhai. But sometimes, just for curiosity, I have seen people how they comment. I mean, it's pathetic. It feels bad, really bad. So uh, maybe this is technological era. We still don't know how to use it properly, and that these things are bound to happen. Maybe in future there will be some other better system that would. I mean, there is subscription nowadays. There is subscribed content versus free content. That is a possibility. But again, if somebody asks me, this is the knowledge, you make it available to just few chosen ones who pay you. But I always say this Rishi did not give this knowledge uh, for some monetary gain. So I cannot claim any copyright on this, or I cannot claim any money for this. Uh, Maybe some better system would be available. But at least Angiras Rishi says this, Sri Krishna also says this, that don't share this with people who cannot properly follow this, cannot understand this. Always choose someone who is on that path, who is bhakta, and uh, who can follow the discipline. And all the great rishis, Parama Rishi, namaskar to them. So we always must do this. So that concludes Mundaka Upanishad. Now, very important that we finish with Shanti mantras. Om Bhadram Karnebihi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyamakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaistुष्टवां स्तनुभुर Yashema Deva Hitam Yadayuhu. Om, may we hear the auspicious with our ears, O gods, Vishwadeva. May we see the auspicious with our eyes, O venerable ones. May we sing your praises with strong limbs and body, and enjoy what has been given to us by the gods. This is a very good shloka to chant for birthday wishes. We say happy birthday and all those songs, but why not this? This is perfect shloka for happy birthday wish. Yes, yes, always, always, always. Yes, one of the most famous one. Om Bhadram Karne Bihi Shnuyam. It is from. It is in Samaveda. It is in Rigveda also. Shanti mantras. Yes, yes. And the next one is also very famous. We always say that on marriage ceremonies or Upanayana Sanskara or any Rajyabhishek or anything. Swasti na Indro Vruddharshavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Starkshu Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadatu. Om, may we be blessed by far famed Indra. May we be blessed by Pushan, the nourisher, and the gods of the universe. May we be blessed by Garuda, the destroyer of evil. May we be blessed by the Lord of Speech, Bruhaspati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So both these shlokas, I would say, very good for birthday wishes. or at least the second one is for all the auspicious ceremonies or any maybe uh, anniversaries or anything like that. The first one is very good for birthday wish, I would say. So we'll start with not Mandukya but Taittiriya Upanishad after a break of 1 week. Next week I am not here in the town, so we'll skip next week. Mm. Yeah, Atharvaveda. Right, right. It is Rigveda, even Yajurveda you will find it. So, no, it's not in this arrangement in Atharvaveda, but it's, I mean, this very common mantra. It can be found anywhere and used in many rituals. It's very good. What's perfect, perfect, perfect. So it is very important that even if you don't know the meaning of these mantras, just chant, because the way those letters, those words are interwoven such a way that it will create that notion in you. Right. Yes. 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 It is. If it is just the Gana, it's going to be Samaveda style. But if it is for Homam, the Havana, then it is Pari Yajurveda. So there are slight differences. There are certain prefixes, certain suffixes, depending upon which Veda is followed. So that's how they do it. But when they do it properly, and that's why I say that video is taken out of YouTube. But when you listen to that Bruhat Samagan, it's different level. So when you listen, just by listening, you feel that you are in a different dimension. It was such profoundly sung in that. There were 21 Brahmins doing that. It is not available on YouTube anymore. The link is there, but the video is gone. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Maybe because of this reason, they might have faced some negativities, right? So, but uh, there was a PBS series, PBS TV channel series, long time back. This fellow, I think Michael Wood or Woods, his name. He went to various parts of Bharat. Story of India. Yes, 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 yes. And in that one particular portion, he went to Kerala. In Kerala, there is a school. They teach generation by generation their kids to sing in that uh, style that is kept for generations. And when you listen to that, even those kids, smaller kids, when they they chant it, it's different level. So it feels really good that they maintained all this. Uh, Sri Ravi Shankarji, Art of Living, in Bangalore ashram, he also does something similar. He is training a lot of children in doing all this various Vedic rituals, Samagana, and all that. So there are many good people doing all this and keeping the Sanatan Jyot alive still today. Very good. Sadhguru is also doing, he has his Gurukulam and teaching all the ancient techniques and studies for the kids. So many people are doing that. And hopefully it will be passed generation by generation, will be kept alive. Even Kashi, there are many schools for Pandits. They are taught rituals and all that for those times, ancient times, no shortcuts. So It's very important. But for us, even if we don't learn all these steps, just do simple homam, offer, remember all the gods, all the Kshetrapal or the Dikpal or the Lokpal, all the Rishis, all the Avtaras, all the Vidyas, Dash Mahavidyas, all the Chiranjivins, all the Mahasatis, Guru, Acharya, Rishi, Sannyasi, Mahatma, all of them. Just even if you don't say their names, just remember and offer your.
You're saying it's okay if we do it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not okay. We have to do it ourselves.
So, so and how often should this be?
Or every day. It's up to you.
And what about the method?
uh, I can share. Yeah, I'll share. Very simple technique.
There is also astrologer named he works in Boston.
Okay.
His name is P.
PV Narasimha Rao. PV
Right.
Narasimha Rao.
He has created a whole manual of doing very
Yes,
simple
yes.
homa.
Take any,
Like
take yeah, yeah. Take any deity and just follow his steps.
I heard it's got
Yes.
a cleansing property.
Right.
House
Right.
removes all the negativity.
Yes, yes. Correct.
Yeah, but he simplifies it, right? So he
Right.
says you can do it in a candle or a diya also.
Or maybe just take a small foil, some tray, put a small coconut, and just do
Yeah,
it.
you can do it with
Right.
coconut.
Yes.
Just a dry coconut.
Dry coconut and camphor. That's it.
He has a lot of YouTube videos as well.
Yes,
to
yes,
share.
yes.
You know, if you can't pronounce it, you know, you can just turn
Yes.
it on.
Correct, correct. But once you learn, do it yourself. Yes. So we complete here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.